Once again, welcome back to the program. आज ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਐਕਸਪਰਟ ਅਮੈਂਡਾ ਵੈਬਸਟਰ ਨਾਲ। ਅੱਜ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਪੈ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਕੀ ਫਾਇਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਇਸ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਰੱਖ ਸਕਣ। और इस बारे गलबात करते हैं अमैंडा वेबस्टर नाल। Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Amanda, a little bit about yourself. How did you get interested in jumping into this field?
Well, I've always had an interest in technology. I pick up programs pretty quickly.
Okay.
And when I moved to Vancouver about 3 years ago, I met a lot of entrepreneurial friends who needed help getting online and promoting their businesses online.
Right.
Because I pick up that sort of thing pretty quickly, I started helping a lot of people do that, and it just transitioned into a career for me.
Right. Now, when we talk about social media, today social media has impacted us in a big way. Being a social media expert, what is your opinion about it? What's happening all around us?
I'd have to say that the biggest concern I see with social media, because I mean, it's great for connecting people and it has a lot of positive aspects.
Right.
Primarily, the most negative would be its addictive qualities.
Right.
It's no new news that we have, we're addicted to being on our phones constantly, our smartphones, spending hours on Facebook, hours on Pinterest. It's a bit obsessive.
Right. So this obsessiveness which is increasing, that is having a toll on our physical bodies also. We are finding youngsters very early on, they are started wearing spectacles, and otherwise also mentally also they're just attuned to just their own phones or to their computers. So that is creating a wedge in the society also. Everybody is becoming more individualistic. Nobody is wanting to talk to each other. You go to coffee shops, you go to restaurants, there also you find the same thing. So what do you feel as a social media expert, how it is impacting and what can be done to come out of this? Because as we are seeing year by year, things are deteriorating, not improving.
Right. Well, specifically with youth, I think that a driving factor for them is the validation that they seek online.
Right.
I think that they can get, how do I explain it? They look to each other to rate them on their physical appearance, the photos that they're posting, and you can't get that kind of validation face to face, especially in that age group. I think that primarily children about the age of 14 and less, when they're most vulnerable to learning about social media and the impact that it can have on their lives and their social circles, their reputation, that they need to be taught ethics.
Right. So when we talk about teaching ethics to the children as far as usage of social media is concerned, it's only if the parents know about, because at that stage when you say 12 to 14 is a very vulnerable age. Now, what can the parents do at that time, not to offend the children also, and also to make them sure that what you are doing should be in a kind of a limited time frame, not, as you said, hours and hours spending on that?
I think that the more the parents show an interest in social media and learning what their children are doing online, the less interested the kids are going to want to be on it constantly.
Okay.
I think that the more parents engage in conversation and communicate with their children on how they're using social media, the less the children will rely on that so much to communicate with everyone else.
Okay. Now, as far as reliability is concerned, and then you also talked about approval also. The more likes means the more you are being liked or more approval you are getting. So that kind of approval, what we have started getting from technology, which way is it heading? If it goes the same way, what do you feel about it? Like being in this business and also seeing, of course, people should utilize it for the benefit, but the negative connotations what are increasing, and of course bullying was one major problem, but now cyberbullying is another big issue.
It's empowerment. So they look for validation through a like because well, at that age, it's sexually, they're looking for validation.
Right.
However, if we give them something positive, a community initiative, or something that they can be proud of and that they can take a leadership role in, they'll look for validation in that sense, more so than the more shallow sort of way.
Right. So at home, this is what the parents can do. But what in the society? What about the society? Like, for example, we were talking about coffee places or shops where you go. There, people used to interact with each other. But now, wherever you go, you find people holding in their palms those smartphones and just busy in that only. So that also is creating a problem. Like for earlier, with the advent of email, people forgot the art of writing, and now with this thing, the communication is also getting segregated. So what do you feel about that?
I think that it's power in numbers. There's different YouTube videos that have gone viral in the last few months that make it loud and clear how we are abusing our cell phones in social circles, how we rely on them too much, and therefore the communication is disconnected with one another.
Right.
And people will relate to something that touches them emotionally. We need to start doing that in our own social circles. Stand up and say, okay, everybody put their phones in the middle of the table because it's disrespectful to one another otherwise.
Right. So that starting has to be done. But again, with the advent of new technology, now what we are hearing is that there are going to be watches now around your wrist, and then everything is going to be in that, and then more and more technology coming. What do you foresee?
That's a very good question. Essentially, technology is going to dumb us down.
Right.
The only thing we can do to combat that is focus more on training ourselves to communicate to one another and not rely on technology. I mean, it's the pendulum. The more that technology becomes more powerful in our lives, the more that we have to focus on communication with one another.
Right. Making us more dumb, God forbid. Thank you very much for this perspective.
No problem.
Thank you. So ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਅਮੈਂਡਾ ਵੈਬਸਟਰ, ਇੱਕ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਐਕਸਪਰਟ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਫਾਇਦੇ ਵੀ ਨੇ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇਖੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਾਰਤਾਲਾਪ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀ ਮਾਪਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੁਸਾਇਟੀ ਨਾਲ, ਉਹ ਖਤਮ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੰਨੇ ਇੰਡੀਵਿਜੂਅਲਿਸਟਿਕ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਪਰੂਵਲ ਵੀ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਉੱਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਲੋਕ ਪਸੰਦ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਫਸਟ ਸਟੈਪ ਇਹ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਮਾਪੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਕਮਿਊਨੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਧਾਉਣ, ਸਮਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਸਾਈਟਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਘਟਾਇਆ ਜਾਵੇ, ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਉੱਤੇ ਸਮਾਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਦੋਸਤ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਇੱਕ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਸਟੈਪ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਨੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਆਓ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਫੋਨਸ ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਰੱਖ ਦਈਏ। ਇਹ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿ ਹਰ ਕੋਈ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਫੋਨ 'ਤੇ ਲੱਗਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਮਾਂ ਚੰਗਾ ਬਿਤਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਨਸੈਪਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖਤਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਉਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਆਓ ਅੱਜ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਸਟੈਪ ਲਈਏ, ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਡੰਬ ਹੋਵਾਂਗੇ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਰਿਲਾਈ ਕਰਨਗੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਰੇਟਿੰਗਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ, ਤੇ ਉਸ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਰੇੜਾਂ ਪੈਣਗੀਆਂ।